Welcome to the Scene Weekly podcast, where we harken back to our college debate days and pick two movies of the same theme to fire up a pot of boiling water and dump as much spaghetti into the dirt, mix it with 6-shooters and whiskey down our gullets. This week's episode is focused on the best spaghetti westerns, with A Fistful of Dollars beginning one of the best trilogies of all time, with the good, bad, and the ugly coming. I was going to say it cleanup because it's not fourth, so I can't really say cleanup, but it is cleanup. Instead of third, come join Jonathan and Steven for another week of whatever this is. We don't have much time, so let's fucking get to it. And welcome to our world.
Let's get it, man. This is a classic spaghetti Western duel that we have here between
Sergio Leone.
That's right. I mean, what a master he is.
Doesn't speak much English. Communicates with people sometimes in French. Nobody has any idea what's going on. He, himself included, didn't do research on how people were supposed to dress and wear of what nature. But boy, as somebody who knew nothing about the West, he nailed it.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, he had a vision. Let's shoot these movies in Spain and cast all different dialects and languages and put it in a pot and let's see what comes out. And apparently, it comes out a masterpiece. Both of these films, I feel like.
Yeah, they did okay. I think Clint, his first starring role in A Fistful of Dollars. That's
really?
Yeah, and he just randomly made it there. I believe he had something in some language in his contract from Rawhide. I think it's the name of the movie. Basically, prevented him from doing any work in the States, and so I guess he just well, I'm gonna hightail it.
Interesting, because by the third movie, he had some demands.
Yeah. I don't know the demands, but I would imagine after the first $200,000 budget with a $14.5 million box office, he's like, I think I can ask for whatever I want.
This is what he asked for. Get this. The movie was delayed a little bit for production because he was demanding an extra $250,000 and a Ferrari. He got it.
I mean, you got to give it to him.
You got to give it to him. Right?
I like the framework of, I think it was during Fistful of Dollars that this was referenced, but there was some contentious nature between old Mr. Leone, director, and Clint, and their vision. Basically, Clint wanted to say nothing at all, like zero dialogue. And Leone had a very vast. I think they clearly sided with Clint, and then they got along afterwards. But I just found it funny. One of my major questions was to you, like, is Clint Eastwood, is he a good actor?
I feel like actors have to have range. And Clint Eastwood doesn't have much range. I mean, but he nails this.
He nails this, huh?
He nails it. Yeah, the little squint in his eye, and just that's all he has to do.
I think Leone said it best, and he goes, basically indicating that the answer to Clint Eastwood being a good actor or not is probably not, and that Clint he had two ways of acting, and that's with a hat and without a hat, and that's it. And I think that really sums up the character in all three. I don't know if you've seen all three, but fun times. I like this poncho.
Yeah, you got a
Very
poncho.
Nice.
I decided to get one of my own because you got the actual classic Clint Eastwood man with no name poncho. I got the dollar bin version.
Yeah, and did you really $1? $1?
No, it was.
Yeah, this is like $90.
Yeah, mine's still alpaca wool, but it's it's not the same design. I wanted to be a little different.
This, I mean, outside of a Halloween party in the future, which I never attend, I can't imagine this is going to be donned again unless we go back to spaghetti westerns.
That's true.
But anyway, we don't have much time. We don't have time for this. Okay, why don't we get into it? And I think we should go Fistful of Dollars first because it came first.
I agree.
And
let's do that.
I should say this. I love this trilogy. It may, I don't know. I'd have to really think about trilogies, and there's only 3 movies in a trilogy. Like, I don't, not including Harry Potter, John Wicks, or things of that nature. it would have to be like Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, 3. These three are just so good. And I don't know if they're perfect, but I'm left satisfied after all three. Some movies you're like, this can continue. And Lord of the Rings, I was like, can it stop? I was like, I don't want any more of this. Like the last, like Return of the King, I was just like, the last 30 minutes is like god awful to me, going in and out of dreams, and it just became like hanky panky stuff.
It's like, did the movie end already? Wait, nope, there's more.
Yeah. I was so confused. Like, oh, he's going off on a boat. Is this the actual ending now? I don't know what's happening. But anyway, this in particular, it ends about as good as any movie on Earth can. But nonetheless, Fistful of Dollars. So I was less satisfied. It's like, women when they hang out with Steven. It's what happens.
I could beg to differ, but we can talk about that on a separate podcast.
What would that be called?
Oh,
Steven's Proclivities?
Yeah, we could start that one. I'm sure that would do really well.
Steven on Hinge.
Unhinged.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Are you on Hinge? Is that what you use?
I've used it in the past, and it yields very, very little results. But I think online dating is just such a waste of time now. Meet people in person, Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have to meet them in person eventually, but to get that,
that's the barrier you have to cross. People just want to text, "How was your day?"
Did you ever read How to Not Die Alone?
Not yet. It's one of my 2025 books on the list.
It's one of my 2025 books I received in 2024. But anyway, A Fistful of Dollars, 99 minutes, Sergio Leone, and 1964 with, I think, a U.S. delivery date of 1967. It's rated R. As you might imagine, there's a few people that get caught up in the bullets. It's a Western, 98% of Rotten Tomatoes. I already told you about the budget and box office, which is, just crushing life. Wandering gunfighter Joe, or the man with no name. Joe is a little interesting tidbit because I think it's mentioned twice, once in the credits and the first when they did the speaking parts. And I don't know if that's an accident or not, or I didn't get clarity.
I got clarity on it.
You got it?
It was
I like the man with no name way more than Joe.
Yeah, it was the marketing department. Since he has a different name in 3 of the movies, they just said the man with no name. It's a lot more mysterious, and we can market it better as a trilogy.
Yeah, so much better. Arrives in a Mexican village of San Miguel in the midst of a power struggle among Sheriff John Baxter and 3 Rojo brothers. When a regiment of Mexican soldiers bearing gold is waylaid by the Rojo brothers, Joe is hired by Esteban, kind of, to join the gang, but he plays one side against the other. Quintessential, like, looking back, very quintessential storyline for a Western. You got just basically, I think you could just throw in gunslingers, throw in like a little bit of a story, a little tuffle, and you got probably a fairly good Western if it's shot well. There's doesn't require much dialogue. You can have somebody being, downtrodden, pushing through the ranks, and you got a good fucking story if it's directed well. Love Westerns.
If it's directed well, if you have some really, close-ups on some faces and some wide shots of landscape, that's kind of the yin and yang of the Western here.
We got to talk about this because, there was many spaghetti Westerns before. I think this was like number 27. Spaghetti meaning from Italy, Italian directors, or shot in Italy. And so, this wasn't the first, not even close to the first of its kind, but it was definitely the first that made an imprint. And sometimes, Italian food made in Italy. Some people argue that it's not the best Italian food in the world. Some people think that pizza elsewhere could be better. Who knows? I'm going to do a Steven and sit on the fence on that. I don't know what's better. They're all good. They're all good, partaken from time to time. But I will say, were there other movies around this time in Italy or otherwise that almost the whole focus was kind of putting the acting performance on the viewer? Does that make sense? Because you have the close-ups of each of the individuals and their faces with almost like stoicism painted on it, but it kind of just let you as the viewer, like ingesting the movie itself, interpret it in like this poetry type or poetic type way. And I think that's so cool. And I don't know any other movie before this that really just forced the viewer to do all the work. And I feel like coincidentally, viewers are collectively probably thinking the same thing. Because it's fairly easy, like good guy, bad guy kind of sort of thing. So it's an interesting setup for the application in a Western, which it just goes over extremely well because things are simple there. Somebody is in trouble, somebody is not in trouble, somebody needs help. I'm going to go save them with guns.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it right. Like their faces, there's not much acting involved. It's just very stoic, and you just see the face, and you can kind of interpret it how you want. I will say, I'm not the most vast expert at all on westerns, but I do know, like, before these three movies, like the western was kind of like the good guy comes into town and saves the day, but the Man with No Name is not really. His moral code is a little bit ambiguous, right?
You think so?
He's not. Yeah, yeah.
You think so? I mean,
I mean,
everyone's moral code is ambiguous, right?
he's not this personification of good. He's he's doing things for his own. He's taking money. He's got these elaborate plans, but we're rooting for him. He's kind of an antagonist, if you will.
An anti-hero. I mean, this is how this was pitched. I love the fact that he just rolls into town, sees some people that, were, first of all, shooting at him immediately, but he is talking some mad shit. And I'll have to say, for both of these movies, the opposite of stormtroopers. Like they just one hand like 6-shooters and can shoot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not an expert in shooting or guns, but I know enough and I've shot enough to know that what they are providing on screen is not impossible, but like really
It's cartoonish. Almost.
Yeah. Like,
it's like that doesn't happen in real life.
The stormtroopers is like more of an accurate representation of like you trying to shoot something moving, and they could fucking just, no matter where, when, 6 shots in a row, and they're all dead, just all gone. But
Just
I like when he rolls into
the cap.
yeah. That's the
6 in a
cartoonish
row.
part. I love how both movies, whether somebody's being killed, shot into a grave, their hat just goes with them, or you're trying to intimidate and their hat, ping, gets shot off their head. Incredible.
I will say the introduction of Clint Eastwood in this film. You said, like, that people were shooting at him and talking about his mule, and I will play this clip here. It's just, I love the.
I don't think it's nice you laughing. See, my mule don't like people laughing. It's the crazy idea you're laughing at him.
Love it.
But you see, that's his moral code. Like, it's not nice to laugh at people, and so they did him wrong, and that's your moral code. He's abiding by it. To me, it's a very strict moral code, and I agree to it. Actually, in the West, you have to have a strict moral code. I think he does have a moral code.
I agree with you.
It's not ambiguous. I think it's very clear.
He is. It
you
is
gotta
clear.
You got to put yourself there.
Yeah, but
they're fucking with this mule. They're going to be fucking with him next, and he's like, got to prevent that. And he's going to do next? Get 3 coffins ready.
So great,
gangster.
Great line. He's a gangster.
Like, they talked about. Imagine if they talked about his mom. Like, what would happen then? Like, the whole world is going to explode. Just started laughing at his mule.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, his mule is very near and dear to him, I'm sure. But he's coming into this town, and I mean,
got to get that ass.
That mule, I like that. He's coming into this town. It's basically like a Romeo and Juliet situation with 2 feuding families, controlling over this town. Nobody works except the bartender and the coffin maker, and everybody's just going to war with each other. And then here comes Clint Eastwood
in arms.
They're up in arms.
The Rojos, the Montagues, and the Capulets. They're having a little bit of trouble with each other. That's correct. And I have to ask the question, like, how long would you last in this Western world? And maybe you could put yourself in this town. Like, how long would you last there?
I mean, start building the coffin, because I don't think I would be lasting very long. One, I don't shoot guns, so that would be I would be bad at that. I can tend to bar. Maybe they would keep me around for that, but I just I don't know. I wouldn't be much use in a Western town like that. What about you?
Seem
Would you last?
I don't think so. I mean, I think of myself as fairly tough and like resourceful, but and I guess you we'd each be forced to be resourceful in those types of environments. I don't know. I'd probably last at least a couple weeks, and then I
Couple
would just
weeks?
start.
Okay.
I'd start to become, getting into your movies, the good, bad, and the ugly. Probably start just becoming a little bad because you got to be a little bad. I think, I think you just have to be a little bad because if you're not, then you're going to be taken advantage of.
Yeah,
Just
that's true.
seems like a bad road to go down.
Man, I wouldn't. Thinking about this, I wouldn't want to live in the old West.
Seems
Not
terrible.
my speed. Yeah, it seems
And
pretty bad.
I will say this in the shooting of the movies, I think both plural, but Fistful of Dollars, they had like nothing, no like real electricity. They had no real like to utilize fine dining, for example, or even restrooms. They would just piss on rocks. I was like, that's actually amazing. And the poncho, he never washed it. He took it home. Never watched it throughout all three movies. Never like altered it, amended it, nothing. All three movies. Where is this poncho?
It's got to smell
What,
pretty bad.
what if I had it? What if I had it on and I just told you at the end?
You're wearing
of
the actual one.
this? What if I did?
I'm sure you would smell very bad.
It's funny. I was trying to think through some of the dialogue of what we would be discussing of the movies, and I was like, this is so. The plot line for Westerns are so simple. It's like, okay, he goes into town, there's a mule that's made fun of, and then he starts feuding with these guys, kills some of them, and then they come after him, he kills some more, and then the end. It's like, where do we go next? But how long did it take you? Because it took me a long time to realize their lips were not matching.
Oh, the dubbed? Yeah. This is a classic thing of Italian cinema. Like they built their sets and sound stages and things like that before the invention of sound, and they never upgraded. So for the longest time, Italian cinema was always dubbed over. And then you hire these people that only speak Spanish, only speak Italian, and their lines are that way. It just doesn't match at all. And I think even sometimes like Clint's mouth didn't match.
Yeah, no, nothing matched. I mean, it was confusing to me, and then I was
Did
like,
that take you out a little bit of each movie?
not really. I just thought it was funny, but it was like, I guess it did, yeah. Because if I'm like laughing at it, that's taking me out of being in a Western, right? It just seems a little strange. But I will say with Leone, I love the close-ups of the faces, and just the imagery that he has created in the shots, but specifically the kind of going back to The Leftovers and that long shot that zooms in, where he does it in a very slow, methodical way of like a pasture and somebody riding a horse to eventually getting onto somebody's face, but in one sequence, is just lovely. I mean, it's just like it reminds me of a romantic Tarkovsky, with some of the best music adorned to the movie, and it just sets the tone.
The music is a character in and of itself. Like you can't separate these two movies with the score that Ennio Morricone, I don't even know how to say it, but he produces. Amazing in both.
Yeah.
I will say, I was thinking about this. The name Spaghetti Western. Like, what if we did this for like other genres, like a hibachi horror, or
it would be great.
Kimchi killers. I think it would be lovely.
It would be fun. I think that's a good spin of the tongue.
Taco tearjerkers. I don't know. I brainstormed quite a few.
It sounds like you're kind of getting into very nice taglines for porn.
Now there's a market I could try and creep into right there. Speaking of taglines, did you get the tagline for A Fistful of Dollars?
Nope. I leave that to you.
It's pretty good.
What do we got?
This short cigar belongs to a man with no name. This long gun belongs to a man with no name. This poncho belongs to a man with no name.
What? Lost and Found's going to be really difficult, huh? The man with no name. Do you got no name? No, I got my name's Mike. No, this is the no name guy. Well, too bad. I mean,
It's great.
funny
this is the
be.
man with no name. Danger fits him like a glove. So he
like
can find the glove. Yeah.
Do you think Rob? You know, I was really thinking about this and the horses that they were using. Can horses? Do they generally just run over rocks? Is that an easy thing for a horse to do?
I would assume so. I mean, they put the horseshoes on them for a reason. So that just basically.
Do you think their ankles are very mobile?
They're sturdy. They got to be sturdy.
I wonder if horses stretch before they film.
There's got to be some. Yeah.
I'll have to say, what an entrance before Clint saves Rubio, towards the end. I mean, and also punching accidentally in the face the wife was hilarious. Accidental but hilarious. But boy, was she knocked out for a long period of time. That was the longest knockout punch I've ever seen in any movie, I think. Like without somebody like hitting a curb, for example, like being in a coma, like she was properly knocked out.
Like somebody check on her. Like, was she okay?
Yeah. And then the doctor comes, she's going to be just fine. Like has no idea she got punched, just thinking she's ill or something. Like that's interesting. A lot of things happened while she was knocked out too, to the benefit of Mr. No Name Man. But nonetheless, he has his moral box. He went to take care of her. He happened to be in the right place at the right time, which seems like in every one of these movies he is. But
he definitely is.
But what a tone! What a revelation of applying Italian magic of filmmaking for Mr. Leone and having the vision to actually complete something like this. Not wanting to use Clint, not wanting to seemingly to use anyone. The sound, the main actors, seems like there was a lot of qualms, but I think that once people saw his vision, they made it better. Clint specifically, and the music is another character in and of itself. But it's revolutionary. Not a whole lot to talk about, but
I will say this. Yeah, I loved it too. But I was watching because I'd never seen this movie.
What?
And yeah, I'd never seen Fistful of Dollars, man. I'm not a Western.
I am being trolled right now. I swear to you. Like each time I don't believe you anymore. Don't believe it.
Funny enough, though, I was watching the end of this movie where he like goes, in a cave and like starts building something, and
yeah,
it's basically the beginning of Iron Man with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
like the Iron Man stole from this movie 100%.
Yeah. All he had to do is shoot him in the head.
That's bold. That's bold.
Or the arm. Or the leg.
Like, after you get shot twice and you're shooting the guy in the same spot, go somewhere else. Just see.
Try his foot. Just his foot. Maybe his foot. I don't know. But nonetheless, that was the excitement. Just dancing while being shot. But yeah, I mean, what an intro to a trilogy. Not as nearly as long. I mean, probably half the length, basically, of The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, which happens to be like 7 different movies in one. I want to say sliced up like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with multiples of layers, like a BLT. But what a great intro! I didn't watch the sandwich version, the second. What is it? A handful of more dollars, fistful of more dollars
for a few dollars more. Yeah,
for a few dollars more. Haven't seen that. It's more than a decade, but Good, Bad, and the Ugly. What an end to one of the best trilogies of all time. Why don't we get into it? Time is of the essence.
Let's get into it, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering how long did it take you to complete this movie? Because it's 2 hours and 58 minutes. Did you do it in one sitting?
No, I did it in two.
Okay,
I did
that's
an
pretty
hour
good.
and I did an hour and 40-minute run, right? And the next day I did the rest.
Like you were running on a treadmill while watching the first part.
It was funny because I think I told you, I was like, "Can we choose the theme for the next week?" And then I started this movie, and I was like, "I'm just going to finish this." Of course, I had an hour and 40-minute or 45-minute run, and then I never looked at the time because I'm like running on the treadmill, and I'll take notes on things like verbally. And then I was like, I stopped it. The feeling of like this movie is not nowhere close to being done. I was like, how much longer? I was like, oh my god, I have more than an hour left. I was like, okay, this is. I guess I don't need to get into the theme. But what about you? You probably saw
Uh,
one sitting.
no, it was two. Because I turned it on kind of like late at night, and I didn't look at the runtime either, and it got to past my bedtime, like 11 p.m., and I was like, I gotta go to bed, and I paused it.
Yeah,
And I was like, I got an hour and 30 minutes left of this.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what?
That it
But
was a
yeah,
little daunting.
it is a little
Great
daunting.
by the
Yeah,
end.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. 1966. Sergio Leone stars Clint Eastwood, Lee Van Cleef, and Eli Wallach. Like I said, 2 hours and 58 minutes. Rotten Tomatoes 97%. 1.2 million budget with a 38.9 million box office. Huge number at the time, 1966. Um, Tagline for this movie: The Man with No Name returns, the last and greatest of the dollar series. For the three men, the Civil War wasn't hell. That's like three different taglines I just said together. But anyways, we have three gunslingers: Blondie, the good; Angel Eyes, the bad; and Tuco, the ugly. They compete to find a buried fortune of Confederate gold during the American Civil War. Each knows only part of the gold's location, leading to a shifting alliance, betrayals, and violent confrontations. The story builds to a climatic three-way showdown in a cemetery. Who will live, who will die, and who will find the gold? I don't want to give any spoilers because even though this movie came out 50 years ago or more, I don't even know. You got to watch it. It's a fantastic film. It's a fantastic ending. It's fantastically paced, even at 3 hours long.
Yeah,
It's, I think, the be all end all Western epic that you could get.
yeah, hands down. I mean, the ending. If you take all the faces that have been zoomed in on, the last three faces, the good, bad, and the ugly, the representation of the characters of them, whoo, boy, best ending. One of the best endings ever. Just incredible.
And the score.
And is it the best theme song ever, or the score? I should say it gets repeated, so it's basically the theme song.
I mean, we've had a lot of good ones over our episodes. I mean, Jaws is iconic, Halloween is iconic, but this, I think you could just put on and you just get the imagery of
Yeah,
what this film is. Like it just immediately it bakes into your brain.
I like Halloween for like 10 seconds, and they're like, okay, that's enough. Halloween would be like a quick smoke a crack. Like, that's good. I need some
Okay.
more of that now. Like, let's just take a little whiff. This is like it's a nice, cool burn of some marijuana. Just chill. You just chill on your couch to that.
Yeah.
And then Jaws is just smoking meth, I guess, and you're freaking out because the ocean's big and these things are moving at 50 miles an hour. And boy, are you freaking out? Start itching yourself. What's going on over there in that corner? Oh my goodness. But yeah,
Wow.
I think I don't know what's the best, but I'd have to put it up there as like a top 5, probably top 10.
I agree
But
with
their
that. I mean,
faces
this is
again, their faces and the zoom in on the face, and
the
us
very
now
first
having
shot is that.
yeah, excellent, and us having now the opportunity of 3, and I think Tuco was actually outstanding, my favorite character of the whole movie, and
Eli,
probably
yeah, he was great.
the whole series, Angel Eyes. But having Angel Eyes, Tuco, and Blondie, and the close ups of all three of their faces, just really the holy trinity of movies. Even it made it very worthwhile, even though only one of them could really, or two of them could really act. Clint not being the actor, or being the non-actor.
I mean, I think Tuco, this was more his movie than Clint's. Like
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
the one that changed the most. He had the most screen time. He had the funniest scenes. I love that character. And then Angel Eyes, originally his name was supposed to be Banjo, but Clint actually came in and changed it and said, no, we got to get something different.
Good
I think
change.
Angel Eyes is, good change.
Yeah, good change. Because
If you were in the Wild West, who would you team up with? Blondie, Angel Eyes, or Tuco?
probably Angel Eyes. Yeah, let's go down a little down the middle. I think he does have a moral box that I could get used to a little greater. Blondie seems a little off the reservation, could probably piss off some people, is a little too arrogant in the Wild West. Luck is on his side, but it seems like Luck, we've got a sliver of time where Luck is probably going to go south for Blondie. He can't win all these. And Tuco's just fucking wild. So in the Wild West, I'm not hanging out with Tuco. Tuco's good to be on screen and watching as a viewer. There's no chance in hell I'm hanging out with Tuco. Zero chance. Unless there's like this raid. There's no chance. There's no chance.
Yeah, Tuco, I mean, he'll double cross you. He'll leave you
Yeah.
out in the desert. But he's been left out in the desert too, so he's just paying back that favor. I mean, what a introduction to these two characters, and the relationship that they have is Tuco is this bandit that gets caught and he's going to be hung from a horse, and then 1,000 yards away or 100 yards away you have the man with no name shooting him down, collecting the money, and they just do it town to town.
Great premise. Going from 2,000 to 3,000. I mean, what
It's
a premise.
fantastic.
Do you think who deserves more money? Tuco's next in line or Blondie?
I think it's Tuco. I mean,
Me too.
Tuco.
Yeah. There's not 50-50 game. Dude's got his neck in a noose. And then secondarily, like, if there's only so many people that Blondie could shoot. I mean, like, he shoots the rope. Okay, what's next? You gonna go pick him up? What do you have to run? Like, he could still get shot. So yeah, danger.
Tuco actually died almost twice. Eli Wallach almost died twice in this movie. The first one was on the horse, and there was like a loud noise that went off, and the horse started running off, and Tuco's got his hands behind his back, and he's just like trying to hold on for dear life.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's got to be scary.
What was the second?
He got like this lead poisoning from this water can or something like that. Yeah, it was.
Oh Jesus! And then
it's the Wild West.
Who would you be hanging out with in the Wild West?
Who would I want to be,
of the three,
or who would I want to hang out with?
Who are you going to team up with?
Oh, who would I team up with?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Tuco would have the best stories. Like, remember that time that bridge blew up? Remember that time I went to the gun shop and just got a gun and the guy paid me money? He's a good shot,
they're all
too.
Lies. Yeah, very good shot. They're all lies, though. Like his brother, the priest, pastor, whatever they call him. Just clearly not a good relationship there, and just lies. I can't deal with the lies. In the Wild Wild West, but though, I would imagine lies are front and center. You just gotta to live with them. Big lofty tales.
What was your favorite scene in the movie?
Probably the end.
Yeah, it's got to be the end.
Probably the end. I mean, and also like halfway through the movie, adding the additional plot twist of Tuco driving Blondie through the desert, and he's about to die, Blondie, and then randomly the stagecoach shows up with a dying last breath of a man who just happens to say there's $200,000 with your name on it, and it's in this graveyard. And then Blondie miraculously shows up, also has the name of the gravestone, and no one else does, as the man just passed away. That turn was like, what? Where Tuco started growing, on the viewers and as a character. He's like, Blondie, don't die. And then you get, they're back in good graces again, of course. But then he goes to take care of him. But it wasn't extremely well shot. There's nothing really I can point to it, but just as a plot driven device was outstanding. Because like, what else was going to happen? Blondie's dead. That just turned the whole movie on its head, kind of.
That would ruin the whole series. Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Man, those chapped lips and sunburnt faces on Clint. That looked painful. I mean, the makeup department went overtime on that, but whew.
Yeah, that seemed rough. I do like Tuco having the umbrella when they're about to go to the desert, and he has that like girly umbrella, something that you would stick into like a margarita at a Mexican restaurant,
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. But I have a question for you. What choice of drink would you choose at a Western saloon? If you were in back then, not like you go into a saloon now.
Yeah, I thought about this and I went back and forth, but I would just give me the biggest jug of water you can. Like I said, after seeing those chapped lips, I want to stay as hydrated as possible, man.
An alcoholic beverage, you dummy.
Okay. Got it. Whiskey neat. Don't put any ice in there. I don't know where that water's been.
Yeah.
Just give me whiskey.
I primarily for the reasons that you're mentioning now, but like, you don't have time. There's no time. Like, whiskey neat is exactly what you should be drinking because you need to get warm probably. And I don't know if you're trying to get drunk on beer, there's lots of issues I would imagine there. But yeah, whiskey neat. I can tell why these motherfuckers are just at a saloon asking for straight up liquor. They just want to get hammered and as quickly and obscenely as possible.
Could you imagine ordering like an espresso martini?
It's gonna be a while. And speaking of being parched, I guess in your water crazy moments, like what's the longest you've actually been without water?
Oh wow!
You ever like gone hiking and been like, oh shit, I'm in trouble. This is bad.
No, I've never had. I'm always just surrounded by water, or if I do something like that on a hike, I pretty well prepared. I've never had like I'm dying of thirst kind of moment, except when
really?
I'm like running.
Never. Wow.
Yeah. What about you?
I've had two that were really I wouldn't say that terrible, I guess, really, when it comes down to it, because I'm here. Still here, I think.
You're alive.
The first one, I was in high school. I didn't really take care of myself, have the water necessary. It was like a 95-degree day. I ran the longest run of my life. It was like 8 miles. And people were running like 12 miles, so I had to wait 30 minutes for them. And I was already parched. I was already dehydrated. And after the 8-mile run in the 95-degree temperatures and humid weather, and you know how much I sweat, I was toast. And there was nothing in the car. Nobody had water there. And for 45 extra minutes, in addition, I was looking like everywhere, in the car, outside, like going through a garbage can just to try to find water. And I was like, I couldn't, no water hoses. There's nothing near me. We were like, just in bumblefuck Florida. And then when I finally got to the nearest store, I bought a gallon of water and drank the whole thing. The whole thing.
Just chug.
Yeah, I chugged that 75% of it in just like one go, basically. The second time was recent. It was last year in February, whenever my friend got married in St. Thomas, and I was doing like a 14-mile workout and long run, and didn't bring. It was the first day I was there. It was also like 95 humid or 90 and humid, and I still had 3 miles left of the run, and I stopped. Like, I stopped a few times before, but I stopped because I was really dizzy. And then I stopped thinking, I feel like I'm starting to get to the point where this is like really terrible for me. And so I just stopped. I waited in like shade for 20 minutes, and then I just walked 3 miles back. And I stopped along the way then, even. And I was like, this is really bad. Like really terrible. But as you know, like doing like a 40 minute workout is probably the worst thing you could do in high temperatures, because that's like the number one reason that runners get heat. What is it called? Not heat shock, but
Heat exhaustion.
heat exhaustion. Yeah. So it was pretty much the worst thing I could have done. The worst workout at the worst time of day as well, like 2 p.m.
Bet it built a lot of character, though.
Every time after every day, even if I'm running 6 miles after that, I took water and Gatorade. I had two, and I carried them the whole way. But anyway,
I just hope you don't. Yeah, whiskey neat. Not a Guinness. Do you still do a lot of chugging? I know that that vagus nerve can be.
Let's call it. I thought it was Vegas, but nonetheless,
Vegas. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Vegas just sounds better. Yeah, I don't. I still do a lot of chugging, but I'm not allowed to chug as quickly and with as cold of a drink as the day after I got married, which I think we've talked about on this podcast. I went face first into a table, and you thought I was joking.
Death. Yeah, at first I thought you were joking.
Put some pressure on that Vegas nerve, and you pass out.
Yeah. Wow.
I have to. Do you have any favorite quotes from the movie? I have one. When you have to shoot, shoot. Don't talk. When Tuco was in the bath after the
ad-libbed that line basically.
Did he?
That wasn't in the
Terrific.
script. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good and so true. Why do come on? You got to take your shot.
Take a shot.
Don't talk.
Don't talk. I like this one.
You see, in this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns and those who dig. You dig.
Brilliant.
Did you ever think it's amazing? Did you ever think, in terms of the moral box to some extent, in Clint, I just felt like Clint was basically the Grim Reaper by the end of towards the end of The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. I was just like, this dude is just cleaning up, like constantly. Then making people like dig their own graves. Like he's just like the Grim Reaper, just like going from town to town, just murking everyone along the way, which is pretty cool. But I just have to say, I mean, Tuco by the end of the third, and I knew what was going to happen, but I was still in the moment of like his rope being shot down after they find the gold, split the gold. The noose gets around Tuco's neck by Blondie after Angel Eyes was already dead. And he's off into the distance, just riding his merry way. And you're thinking, is this really how this is going to end if you're watching it for the first time? And Tuco is just like, kind of have faith. He's like in the midst of like having faith that Blondie's going to do the right thing, but also like, oh my God, am I really going to die? But he just left the gold here. So confused. So the viewer is also confused. And then, of course, he comes back and takes the shot, and which in effect opens up probably another round of movies or trilogies. But terrific. Tuco's the man. Just fantastic character, fantastic actor. And did he win any awards for this?
There was no Oscars given out for this movie at all.
Why? How?
Mainly because it didn't get released in the States until 1968. So 2 years after it was released, I guess, in Italy and parts of around the world. But yeah, amazingly, nobody got any nominations on this. I will say, like that, the music that was playing, the Ecstasy of Gold, was during the Tuco running around looking for the grave. I mean, that shot, oh my God, like
so
incredible.
Good. Yeah, the madness for gold. But 200,000. That's.
Do you know how much that is in today's that day's money? I just looked it up. It's
no idea.
Basically $3.9 million.
It's not as much as I would have expected.
Well, they each get a cool, basically a little 1.8 mil, 2 million.
You're basically
tax free.
Yeah,
What do you think they do with that? What would you do with that kind of money back in the Western times?
I would go get the biggest, tallest glass of water because I was parched. I'd go get a glass of water. I'd probably definitely go get some whiskey neat. Not too much. I'd figure out a place to store those gold coins somewhere first and not tell anybody about it.
Yeah, I might buy some beachfront property in like San Diego or something like that. Have a nice investment.
Yeah, that might be good. Might go west, go to Seattle, open up a coffee shop.
Oh, really? What would you call it?
Starbucks. Maybe that'll work. I hear the temperate climate over there is nice. Never
It's
gets
kinda
really below
rainy.
40. Yeah,
A
but
lot of
it's like
people wear ponchos there, though, so you're good on that.
I'd get along with people, I think. Maybe. And if not, I'll just pay them.
You'd probably drive a Subaru.
I can't imagine.
Full disclosure, I drive a Subaru.
Lesmobiles. By the way, I mean that suits you. It does.
Thanks.
I just can't believe he wore the same poncho for the entirety of it, and like there was no like real wardrobe department, so he just took it home each night and like his clothes home each night. It had to have smelled horrendous, and I hope that's true. But anyway, excellent, outstanding trilogy. I mean, there's no other Western trilogy that you can even compare it to, so it's the best. Clearly,
It's the best. And this was going to be, I think, your choice for threequels if we were doing it. Like if it was available.
it would have been my choice for threequels, which is going to be in 2 times from now, I believe, our next episode, and it would have been for sure The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. It's to me, it's in a third movie in a series of at least 3 or plus or 3 or more movies. Yeah, it's I don't know. Is it the best? Probably. Yeah, or my favorite. Depends on the time. It's either that or Matrix,
The Matrix Resurrections. Yeah, I doubt that.
So bad.
But if you could,
so bad.
yeah, it's really bad. But let's do some ratings, shall we?
No, I would prefer not to do a rating. I'm gonna to pose a question to you.
Okay.
What would make a good remake in the characters of The Good, Bad, and the Ugly? Like, so who
Okay.
would play Blondie, who would play Tuco, and who would play Angela Eyes?
Okay. This is a good question. I'm trying to
Yeah.
think of like kind of, up and coming actors. Clint Eastwood. Maybe you do Austin Butler. I think he would
I don't
do
know
good.
who Austin Butler is.
Oh, okay. Maybe for Tuco, I could see like a Paul Giamatti, maybe a younger version of Paul Giamatti.
Okay.
Tuco, you could see that. And then Angel Eyes. Let's go a little older. Maybe Johnny Depp.
So I had Depp, not a shoe-in, but he was in a top 3 for Angel Eyes for me as well. But neither. I like the setup. I went a different path. I actually was trying to think of a Clint Eastwood look like, and then I just kicked that idea, and I was like, let's just try something different and maybe stick to the stoicism. And I thought Michael Fassbender would make a good Blondie.
He could, yeah.
Thought about this and immediately came to mind. Tuco is Joe Pesci for sure. Joe Pesci as Tuco, it would just be terrific, I think. And Angel Eyes, Joaquin Phoenix, I chose.
Oh.
And I thought those 3 together would be collectively great. I went back and forth on a few like Johnny Depp.
I would watch that movie.
It'd be fun. Yeah. I mean, they're remaking everything, including what? Little House on the Prairie?
Are they really?
Yeah, I think Netflix is doing it. Like, what are we doing? Why can't we just have new material? The fact, tip of the iceberg, or not even, I don't know. When Old Boy was being redone, I'm like, this is bad. Just do something new.
It doesn't
anyway.
need it. It does need it, but here we are.
Ratings.
All right. So Fistful of Dollars. Yeah, I think I got an itch for Westerns now. I actually started for a few dollars more the other day. I haven't finished it yet, but
nice.
I want to complete the trilogy. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah.
This is a great film, great setup. 4 glasses.
4 glasses.
4, yeah.
Okay. I was gonna have. I thought we were gonna have a debate here because I don't. You always tend to do the ratings in the sense of glasses as they get escalated through the lack of objectivity, but you go by your gut, and so I started doing the same. I think objectively it's all for this movie that I'm kind of arguing against myself. It's not a 5 glasses movie, probably in any stretch of any objective notion. But I also gave it a 4,
Cool. Yeah, I
primarily
think it's
because there's not much acting or dialogue or editing. There's nothing terrific. The directing is great.
the score is great.
The score is great, and there's a lot of other things that are not. Like it's just like haphazard, but nonetheless, I think it's still 4. Revolutionary though. Although it's
For
not the
sure.
first of its kind, it's the first of its kind to actually make a dent.
Big dent, if you. Yeah,
So 4
I
glasses.
definitely agree with that. All right,
Good,
let's go
bad,
to
and the
good.
ugly. What do you got? I'll go first since you went first. It's nothing but a 5 glasses movie. I mean, what else could you offer up here? I think it's the best third installment of a movie series, and I also think that the addition of Angel Eyes and Tuco as characters really made this into an elaborate Western drama, coming of age, if you will, for Tuco. Even like dealing with his own issues from from all perspectives, I guess, to be honest. And just one of the best endings in the world, and also probably a top 5 score theme song of all time. And it's a 5 glasses for sure for me.
Yeah, I mean, was this movie good? No, it was great. Was this movie bad in any respect? No, it was almost perfect in every respect except the dubbing. That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Was it ugly? Absolutely not. It was a beautiful film, beautiful score. I'm on the same page, man. 5 glasses, golden
Yeah.
glasses.
Golden. We're just giving out golden glasses to everybody. That's you want a movie? We'll give you out a golden glass.
Here you go. Here you go. But we're picking bangers, man. What can we do?
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Is there going to be a 6 glass in the future? I wonder. Can we do it? Because they changed the stars of like hotels to like there's 7-star hotel at Dubai.
What? That's a thing? What do they do? They give you like a happy ending when you leave? Like what's?
I think so. Yeah. No,
Okay.
when you come and you leave.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right. And what do we have next week? I think this is episode 51. So episode 52, which is coming following this.
We're dealing some cards. We're playing a little loose and goose with our chips, and we're going poker. Theme.
Poker. So we have Rounders, which is your movie, and I am taking the lovely Casino Royale. I've already seen Rounders. Hitting up Casino Royale hopefully in the next couple of days. Should be fun. You a big fan of poker?
I used to. Yeah, we'll talk about it more, but I used to play a lot back in the day.
Got it. Well, until next time. Goodbye from
Thanks
our
for joining
world.
us. Bye-bye.